Great.
You ready? Town Council Order, April 10th, 2025. Please join me on the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Linda, do you have an announcement about what happened with the voting this week?
Oh, we won.
Yes. I know it's fun. So you gonna do it at the meeting? You gonna do it at the meeting? Okay. I was gonna let you make that announcement. Okay, everybody has their minutes. You have two sets. One from March 13th and one for our budget meeting on March 27th. Are there any addendums, amendments, or changes, or anything needs to be made, or any questions? And if you don't have any, we'll need a motion to approve when you get done.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Thanks, Sarah. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Sharon. Okay, we'll go around the room.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Everybody has a copy of the treasurer's report. And also, when we're talking about the treasurer's report, there's also a copy of your new budget, or the revised budget, I guess. And we're going to have a little meeting. You'll announce that later on. Any questions on the treasurer's report? No? Okay. Now we're down to bills for payment. A list of bills. Any questions on any of the bills? And I need a motion to approve.
How much to approve?
Okay, thank you. Second?
Second.
Okay. Run the room.
Yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Yes.
Awesome, thank you guys. Okay, Boys and Girls Club. Sandra is here to tell us about the Boys and Girls Club.
Thank you. I appreciate you all fitting me in on the agenda. Just wanted to come up and say thank you for the town of Timberville for supporting Boys and Girls Club for the past many years. So Boys and Girls Club has been in existence for about 30 years. And we started in Harrisonburg at the Lucy Sims Center. We opened the Plains Club back in 2010. So it's been here for quite some time. And we rely on community support and the fact that you all take the time to learn about us and know us means the world to our club families that attend. The Plains Club supports not only Plains Elementary, but the Rockingham County transports kids from John Wayland and what's the other one? I get them mixed up.
John C.
Myers to the Plains Club. We are open 48 weeks of the year. During the school year, we're open in the morning before school and then also till 6 p.m. after school. And then we're open in the summer, 7 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. And during the time that we have club, during the summer and days when we're open during the school year for a full day, we provide hot meals. So we cook them in Harrisonburg down at the Sims Center, and then we bring them up here and deliver them to the kids here. The programs that we have focus on academic success, healthy lifestyles, and character building and citizenship. And then within those, we usually partner with groups. So for instance, to enrich those programs. So for instance, we partner with a group called Vine and Fig for the healthy lifestyles. Vine and Fig coordinates with local farmers, and those farmers provide vegetables for our clubs. The clubs then use that to teach the kids about different tastes and different vegetables. They create programs around that. And then every family gets a bag of vegetables each week. So it's a great program, and then the recipe is sent home with the families. Then we have for like character building and citizenship, we partner with the Rotary. Currently, we're enrolling our kids in the annual soapbox derby, which is May the 10th. And then within all that, we have boys and girls curriculum that we work on to enhance and enforce the lessons that we have. One of the great things about clubs are we're the bridge between home and school. We're in a very unique position to see the kids, talk to their teachers, and then we see the caregiver every day, which allows us to communicate to families ways to help that young person, whether it's academically or emotionally. And one thing I like, sort of a Mythbusters, is that most people think that we run on volunteers, and it's actually just the opposite. So we employ about 55 people. 14 to 15 of those are full-time positions with benefits. And as part of that, each club is headed by a full-time person with benefits. And they get extensive training because the kids and the families deserve that. And I mean, that's who you want your kids with, is someone who has training. And they undergo safety training. And then we also focus a lot on behavior management and social and emotional wellness. And that's where that club director and all the staff, because we train all our part-time staff as well, it trickles down, and we're able to talk with families and get supports. If certain families, if there's some social emotional wellness that needs to be addressed, we can connect those families and those kids with the things that they need to succeed. And I didn't know if you had any questions. This Plains is one of 7 clubs. That's the other thing I didn't say. People tend to think we have 1 or 2 clubs. We have 7 clubs, and 3 in the county. So Plains, Elkton, and South River. So those are the 3 county clubs. And one of the other things is I encourage you all to come tour. So when you have time, I'd be happy to, Linda has my contact information, happy to take one, several, everybody on a field trip. So down to Plains. And did you have any questions for me?
How many participants are over Plains?
So we have about 45 on average per day. The club has about 60 or so that are registered, and not every child comes every week, but so about 45 per day.
Okay.
Some of it is determined by how much square footage we can get in the school. So that does limit us a little bit. I think our maximum, we're at 60 some, our maximum for that location is 75. So we'd love to fill it though.
Any other questions? Well, thank you for what you do.
Well, again, a sincere thank you to all of you for supporting us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. And you don't have to hang around if you don't want to.
I'm going to hear Noah.
There's some pressure here. Okay, we do have a public hearing, but we can't, we got it at 7:10. Do you want to go straight into that, AC?
That's fine.
Okay, so, let's see if I do this public hearing right. Brad needs to, I was pointing at Brad needs to open up your meeting.
Let's call to order this session of the Timberville Planning Commission.
And I like to open up this joint public hearing of the Planning Commission and the Town Council. So now our public hearing here is on a conditional use permit. AC will read that, and I've asked him to read for the people who don't have copies of our conditional use, what it entails that they have to abide by, so it'll help answer some of the questions too.
So we did receive an application for conditional use permit for a tobacco/vape shop. the address, I sent that out to the planning commission and council. The address is actually 14056 Timberway, and we'll get the county to correct that too. I think when Randy's expanded, they didn't account for taking away one of those spaces. That's how the numbering got off. So when we look at a store of this nature, it falls under 607.03-22 of the Land Development Regulations. And it reads, convenience or retail stores selling primarily tobacco, nicotine, cannabinoids, and/or their related products, accessories, and merchandise, also commonly referred to as smoke shops, vape shops, or head shops, hereinafter smoke shops. So in addition to all the other requirements, including those listed in Virginia Code 18.2-371.2, shall conform to the following: tobacco, letter A, tobacco, nicotine, cannabinoids, and/or their related products, accessories, and merchandise shall not be visible from any point outside the establishment. B, hours of operation, the smoke shop business shall only operate from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m. C, all owners, managers, and employees shall be at least 21 years of age. D, no smoking shall be permitted on the premises at any time. E, no distribution of free or low-cost tobacco, nicotine, cannabinoids, and/or their related products, accessories, and merchandise, as well as coupons for said items shall be permitted. F, it is unlawful for a smoke shop to knowingly allow or permit a minor not accompanied by his or her parent or legal guardian to enter or remain within any smoke shop. G, smoke shops shall post clear signage stating that minors may not enter the premises unless accompanied by a parent or legal guardian. At least one such sign shall be placed in a conspicuous location near each public entrance to the smoke shop. It should be unlawful for a smoke shop to fail to display and maintain or fail to cause to be displayed or maintain such signage. H, the owner-operator shall install, operate, and maintain a security camera and videotape system designed by a security specialist. Surveillance cameras shall be continuously monitor all entrances, parking areas, and all areas of the establishment where business is conducted. Such cameras shall provide clear imagery of the establishment's patrons and their vehicles. Tape recording activities in the areas under surveillance shall be preserved for a period of 4 months. Authorized representatives of the Timberville Police Department or the Timberville zoning administrator shall have access to such tapes upon request. I, the owner or operator, shall provide adequate lighting for all entrances, exits, and parking areas serving the business and all areas of the establishment where the business is conducted. Adequate lighting means sufficient lighting for clear visual and security camera surveillance. J, the smoke shops that are legally existing on the effective date of this land use regulation may continue to operate, but shall still be required to obtain a conditional use permit. That's the end of that.
Okay, now we're open up for public comment. If anyone would like to make a comment on our conditional use permit, now's the time to come up, introduce yourself, and whatever comment you may have. Seeing none, then I'll close public comment. Planning Commission, do you need time to think? Do you have a recommendation already? We can do that, right? You want a moment?
Yeah, can we take a moment?
Why don't y'all just walk on out there? We'll continue on, and when we get done, we'll... Can they go out?
So they're going to continue their public meeting over there.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to attend that public meeting, they can. The town council is going to continue their public meeting here.
Okay.
Both are open. It's not closed.
Okay, yep. Thank you. I know we did that one time before.
Yeah, you can do that.
Okay, we'll continue on with our meeting until they come back at whatever time. Police report.
Okay. The officers are out enforcing ordinances. So the main ones right now are, of course, vehicles and grass. Grass is starting to grow, obviously, since it's warmer weather and rainy conditions. So we're on top of that. Just want to bring to attention scams. We got a report from a resident who was scammed out of a large amount of money. This individual claimed to be from the federal government and stated he was a federal officer, gave a badge number, and stated she owed a large sum of money. They sent a courier to her house to pick up the money. She put the money in a container and basically just dropped it in his passenger seat and he took off. We had a vehicle description. no tag. Unfortunately, I don't believe he went past our flock cameras. And we contacted Shenandoah County to get their help, but they didn't have anything on their flock cameras either. I hear he came off the interstate and never passed the flock camera, unfortunately. We just want to ask council and everybody just to be vigilant and to remind their family, friends, and neighbors to be vigilant with these scams and contact their police department or their local law enforcement if they have any information or any concerns. Lastly, I just want to thank Blue Line Concrete for their $250 donation for the police banners, which the police committee said was a, what would y'all call it?
Sash.
Sash, yeah. It's we call it a banner. I guess
They call it a banner, but it's clearly a sash.
I guess it's more tactical cool to call it a banner.
No, not a sash.
So we just want to thank him for his donation for the, and if you got any questions of what it looks like, just let me know. I got a video on my phone.
Okay. Okay, and again, these scams, people, the federal government's going to send you a letter. They're not going to call you, they're not going to send someone to your house to pick up your money. So if they're doing that, call the PD, call 911 and say, because they're just not going to do it. Do not do it. Or if they want you to pay with gift cards, any of that stuff that don't feel right, it ain't right.
And please don't give like social, any bank account information, none of that.
My mother had someone call her the other day and say, have you recently got a new Medicare card? And could you tell me what the number is so I can verify it? Well, she hung up. If they send it to you, they know what the number is because they sent it to you. So it's just, there's all kinds of shady people going around, unfortunately. Okay, you're back.
We're back. Okay, yeah, so we determined that the applicant is in compliance with the land development regulations, and therefore, Planning Commission makes a recommendation for approval.
Okay. Do I need a vote from them or just a recommendation?
No, you have the recommendation.
Okay.
I assume that they voted for the
Okay,
recommendation.
I would hope so. Okay, now it's to the council. The council have any discussion, any questions about the shop? If not, I'll need a motion.
I make a motion that we table the request at this time,
Okay.
and to a further investigation, myself have not had enough time to thoroughly, what do you say, I'm for a loss of words, but gather enough information.
Okay.
In other words, I just feel I haven't had enough time to see how these things affect different communities.
Okay.
I'd like to reach out to some other council members myself that have them in their
Okay.
towns and see how the effect's been there. So I make a motion that we table the request for this time.
Okay. We have a motion to table. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, go around the room. This is a motion to table.
Yes.
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 No. Okay.
So it's tabled for right now. We can bring it up next council meeting or, okay. Let's just plan on bringing it up next council meeting and people have more time to discuss it. Planning Commission, you can close your meeting
Okay, like to close the session of the Timberville Planning Commission.
and I'll close the joint Planning Commission and council meeting. And you guys can leave if you want.
Let's stick around.
Okay. AC, Public Works.
All right, on Public Works, everybody received Chris's report with the, very lengthy report, even longer than normal, with all of the items that they've completed. Wanted to say that after the council took the vote to cease fluoridation of the drinking water, I've had correspondence with the health department requesting the town to continue. There are requirements apparently in the Virginia Administrative Code of giving 90-day notification to VDH authorities and potentially residents. So we're looking into that. They're only requesting that we do that. So I'm not sure what the actual authority is. They did send one of the representatives up to date. He's the one who usually does our inspections for our treatment facilities. And he was sent out just to gather information. He wanted to see our equipment, if we had any chemical, things like that. So we'll see what they say back. I sent them a letter letting them know that we wouldn't, we talked to our supplier and we cannot get the fluoride probably at least until June and maybe later now. So it would extend beyond that 90-day period anyway. So they do know that we are not fluoridating the water because we don't have we actually had a piece of equipment fail the night after the meeting took place, and I assured them that it was coincidental. We did not say but one of the tanks did get messed up, and the guys went into the building and it all overflowed that next morning. So we had multiple different things, with the supply chain and then with the equipment. So we're working with the health department to see if they're going to require us to do anything or if it's just a request.
Can you ask them to supply us with the codes or the requirements so that we can look those up ourselves?
I have those.
Okay. Would you send those to me?
I will. The thing that I have not seen yet is where it is where everything that they have sent back when I asked them about things, it is, we request the town.
It's not a mandatory thing that we can, okay.
That's what it sounds like.
Utah has ceased fluorination in the whole state and Florida in the next 2 weeks.
I think that's the way things are going. I
It
think that's
is.
the way it's heading. Okay, what else you got to say?
And then we met with our new solid waste contractors today. We had actually pretty much the entire town staff met. It was the entire office staff, Chris and Derek, we're all in here, and we were very impressed. Very impressed with the meeting that we went through. And this was a meeting about the transition, switching over when they're going to bring in the new containers and things like that. And so it was last week or last 2 weeks of June is when they're looking at bringing the new containers in.
I think it's June 23rd.
And they have everything set up. I mean, lots of information. They will have stickers on top of the containers that it would probably be split up over 2 days. Collection will be over like a Monday and Tuesday. But they will have stickers on the tops of the containers when they deliver them. Gives all the information, what day your collection will be. You can sign up for alerts directly from the company. We were all very impressed with the two gentlemen that showed up and with the perceived customer service and communication that we're going to receive, which is what we were aiming for. So we're very excited about that. And I probably should have something else on Public Works, but I can't think of what it is right now.
You got?
Well, I've got that down under some of the other stuff down
Oh,
here.
you guys are spread all over the place.
Someone jammed all up in one spot.
Okay, business industry is under that.
So I have, the only thing I have under that is the Tractor Supply Company has broken ground and they're hitting it hard. They said that they will have a grand opening or the store will be open November 1st. They said that they have had projects where everything lined up perfectly and they had them open in 120 days. That, we're already beyond that with the permitting process and everything, but they said that they will be open November 1st. So it's very exciting.
Was entertainment for our street. Because we all meet at the end of the street and watch them cut down trees.
It's always a group somewhere in town, and there's a new project going on, there's always a group that gathers.
We said if it was warm, when it gets warm, we will take our lawn chairs down and watch.
Right.
What is it?
I tell you, I'll have to go on down and hang out.
It is. I mean, you should see how they took down trees.
And I have no update on the Mexican restaurant. I just know that there were electric vans down there from the electric company doing work today, so
One day.
eventually. But most of my stuff is under Parks and Rec.
Okay, Parks and Rec. Okay. We're gonna get there sooner or later.
I'm gonna do that right now. So, first I'm gonna give you an update on the Rails to Trails project. VDOT, what was it, a year and a half or so ago, we'd have the Rails to Trails project moving forward with good momentum. And then an opposing proposal came up that was Rails with Trails. And when the General Assembly got a hold of that, they charged VDOT with doing a study, or an assessment, it's called an assessment officially, on this proposal. And VDOT, it's 3 phases to it. VDOT finished their first phase, and the report was finally released, and they had a meeting on Tuesday evening at the community center, and it was extremely good turnout. VDOT said there were about, I was down there, I didn't count everybody, but VDOT said they had counted about 200 people in attendance.
One gentleman drove from Charlottesville.
Really? So it was very good. The report is very, it's very open, and it's very long, and a little bit of technicality to it, but it says that, yes, it can be done. The flip side of that is, how much money do you want to throw at something to get it done?
To do both.
To do the Rails with the Trails, yeah. And so that's really what the focus of this was on. They're going to get into the next phases. They'll be studying, they're doing cost estimates of what it would be to rehab the corridor for rail use, as opposed to the figures, and updating figures that they had on the trail-only option. So it's moving along, and VDOT expects that it will be done in June, I believe, is their target date for wrapping everything up. So hopefully these last 2 phases will move a lot quicker than the first 2 phases.
It's my understanding, though, the money set aside was for a trail, but it does not exclude the addition of a rail.
Right, so
it's going to be a trail, or it's going to be a trail with a rail, but not just a rail by itself. Is that
Well-
or is that?
So to use the General Assembly allocated $35 million towards the Rail to Trail project, just the trail. And the understanding is that that can't be used for rail revitalization or to do anything to bring rail back. That rail would be separate, have to be funded separately. And so if somebody came in and bought the corridor now, if Norfolk Southern sold it to somebody, then they could just run a rail line on it without a trail, but they wouldn't have access to that 35 million. It's the way that we've understood it in the General Assembly. Any questions on that?
I have a question on that. Who's gonna use the rail? Who do they think is gonna come in and use the rail?
And that's one of the big questions is to, there are lots of questions. And so that's what this assessment's doing, is trying to answer all of those
But
questions.
he did say they are not, VDOT are not.
VDOT is not into rail operations.
They're not into rail operations, and they talked to their rail people, Virginia's rail people, and they have no opinion on it. So the rail itself is going to be up to some independent party to come in and start a rail, is my understanding of what he said. So yeah, they have no idea, and nor are they interested in deciding who's going to do it.
And so this assessment is gathering tons of information that they can present to the decision makers in Richmond as to which option they, how they want to fund or which option they think is the best. So VDOT really makes no decision on this. This is all just, they're the ones doing all of the work together, the information to provide to
Rails
the.
pulled out by the gas station, so it's not getting that dip.
So, the Parks and Rec Committee met month and a half ago, whenever that was. One of the things that was discussed was the gateway signs, especially the one up on the bluff. The oval picture on top, that's the covered bridge, is completely faded. It's just weathered and aging poorly because of the sun. So the Parks and Rec Committee said, let's do something, let's get some input from the community. Way back in, what year did I say that was? 2006 or 8 or something, whenever we did the logo contest for our town logo, the big green T. We opened that up and had people submit their ideas for that, and then council voted on it. So we decided to do the same thing with the gateway signs. So Cecilia, along with our intern Avery, they have come up with this competition proposal, but it's going to run on our social media, and people will be able to submit ideas electronically. They can drop them off if they're hand drawn, or photographs that are actual photographs, and then it'll be a blind competition like we did with the logo, and council can look at all of those and determine, if they want one of those submissions to be the new picture for the oval on top. So what Avery and Cecilia have done with that display that will be coming out very soon, it's very impressive. They did a really good job, and it's very flashy and lots of moving pictures and things like that. So, Cecilia's also been busy on this probably should have been under business industry, a passport event, and it's called, and I've got these that I'll give out to everybody. It's called Travel the Town's Passport, and it's a collaboration between Timberville, Broadway, and Newmarket. They have, let's see. It's going to run from April 25th to May 4th. They have 54 businesses that are participating. Each business donated a $25 gift card or something equal in merchandise. Those gift cards are put into a baskets that people can win. The highest prize is a $400 basket, and the lowest baskets are $75. Passports will be available online April 24th in the evening and will be available at participating locations in town offices, Newmarket and Timberville on April 25th. 12 Timberville businesses are participating, 17 Newmarket businesses, and 25 Broadway businesses. Participants will have to collect 6 stickers from Timberville, 9 from Broadway, and 13, she has one of those wrong. And then she has Timberville twice on there. So they'll have to collect a certain number of stickers from each locality's businesses. The stickers are collected through visiting the business and or making a purchase from the business. And so this is the flyer, and we'll give those out. But it's very cool. Good way to incentivize people to go into our local businesses and patronize our local business owners. So they've been doing a lot of work on that. The American Legion Post members, Mike Gray actually brought this up. They went to donate some benches to the American Legion Park where the walking trail is going in. And so they had brought up and to show it to us. Basically, it's a metal bench, but they'll be able to have the post number on the back of it because you can have something written in the back. So wanted to thank them for that. It's a great addition to the new project that we have going on over there. Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I've been ready.
Okay. So for the second year in a row, the town of Timberville is the repeat champion in the Tournament of Towns competition hosted by WSIG. And thank everyone for participated in this. Came down between Broadway and Timberville again in the championship round. And how many towns were in it altogether?
Was it 32?
Is that what it was?
I think so.
So that's pretty impressive. People are dedicated to supporting Timberville. So we really like that, and we're repeat champions. We're going for the 3-peat next year. And then the final thing I have on Parks and Rec is this Saturday, starting at 1:00 p.m. at the Sports Complex at the intersection of Memorial Park Drive and 5th Avenue, we will be having the annual Easter egg hunt. So anybody that's available to come out and help with that or come out and participate in that, bring the young ones out and enjoy it. It's always a big hit. We always have huge crowds.
Was it 11:15 you start hiding eggs? Is that what it is? So if anyone's available to show up 11:15, it takes a little bit of time to hide it. It takes 14 seconds for kids to pick them up. It goes quick. It does. It goes very quick. So, but you'll need a little bit of help. And you got my message. I won't be able to be there. Okay. Anything else?
That's all I have on Parks and Rec.
Finance, you're gonna have one more meeting sometime, just
Yes, so everybody should have 2 documents that are budget related at their spots. The actual budget document itself has been updated with everything we've discussed. All the projects are included in that. And what I did, the other sheet is our project list. I've kind of moved it around with it so it's easier to understand. But on the far right-hand side of that far right column of that sheet, it tells you which line in the budget document that project was added to. So as you go down through, you'll be able to see why those lines changed from that last document you had. So yeah, we'll have we can have another quick meeting sometime soon, because we'll have to get the budget ad, will have to go in. Let's see. We'll have to have that in by April 24th, probably is our best bet. So maybe we can see about, it would almost have to be next week, if we could get together for half an hour next week.
Yeah, just something
I
quick.
think that would be probably, and there are a couple of items down at the bottom of that list too. We had talked about, we kind of briefed over them in, I think, the first budget meeting. The shelter fee, the rentals for the shelters, and then our renter's deposit for utilities is too low. And I'm not saying that just kind of out of, just throwing it out, but according to the Code of Virginia, they're too low. The Code of Virginia requires us to have at least 3 months of a minimum bill as a deposit. And so what we run into is if we have people that skip out and don't pay their last bill, we can't cover the entirety of what their bill may be. So we're actually looking at 4 months, because that would cover 2 months delinquent.
I was just asking Quentin, do we have to have can we just do those two things, or?
I would put those in with the budget, since it's an increase in the fee. I was going to write it up in the budget ad, and that way when it's all approved together, and since it is an increase in the fee, we would have to, okay, maybe, Quentin says maybe we would have to.
I'd rather you just put it in the budget thing so that I don't have to look it up.
Right. It's easier that way, and it gets it out there too, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's on finance. Personnel? Chief?
Nothing.
Or, not yet, Sergeant? Sorry. That was Freudian slip. Sergeant?
Town staff has just been
Amazing.
amazing and just running ragged. There is a lot going on, so.
We knew this point would come where everyone wants to build everything, and there's gonna be.
We still have good movement on the residential developments, both of them actually. There's still a lot moving forward. The American Legion, or the Roxbury development is still, that's in review with the county now. Comments were due back, I think, last Friday, so they're still moving that forward. So hopefully that will continue, so.
Okay. We're down to Plains District 1 Museum. Sharon, what do you have?
This Sunday afternoon at 2 o'clock is going to be a program on rails to trails.
Just in time.
Yeah, it's it on.
Dr. Don Hatton's presenting.
Don's gonna be doing it?
Yes.
Okay. And I know you have something this month.
Yeah, I took once a month off, so I thought better to have something tonight.
Okay.
I didn't think the town manager was ever going to get done talking tonight. Anyway, the John Hoover House, where Mr. McCauley used to live, was built in 1902, and the Frank Driver House, built in 1913, that was a former nursing home. Both had oil furnaces, which was unusual at that time. August 1927, supervisors decided to post signs at each end of the covered bridge, limiting the weight to 6 tons. They were getting ready to repair the bridge. At that time, the bridge was 43 years old, and the bridge was about 54 years old when it was torn down, so it lasted a long time. September 1909, around Timberville area, a bushel of apples cost 50 cents, and a pound of bacon was 15 cents. In the fall of 1919, construction started on the Lutheran parsonage on North Main Street. It took about 2 years to build. It was finished in 1921 and cost $8,158.09. And that's a big house too. So.
Where's that at? Which one's the Lutheran?
Belvedere Street, the first house up Main Street from that, the big white house.
Oh, really?
That was a Lutheran parsonage, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Man, that's a big house for that.
Friday, February 3rd, 1911, the Timberville Literary Society had a debate. Robert E. Lee was a greater general than Stonewall Jackson. The negative side won, so Jackson was greater. January 29th, 1916, the fire department was organized here in Timberville. 54 citizens signed up to be volunteers. I think that was a pretty good turnout. February 5th, 1835, William G. Thompson was appointed postmaster of Timberville. And that's kind of all the notes I had. I had 8 people show up at my house, I think, the week before last, and the woman was related to Adam Rader. And so we talked a while, and I can assure you that when they departed, they knew more about Timberville than when they arrived. And then we have one other thing. We just set up a thing from the Woodman of the World at Broadway, and we're going to have a big walking tour in June. And somebody passed out my telephone number, but we won't mention any names. Sharon.
He got me thinking, Robin was down at the park the other day, and she's walking, and there's a couple there, one going, I always thought Broadway and Timberville was one town, and the one lady was saying how great Timberville was, and the other person saying how great Broadway is. So they're having a debate around our park, but you're in our park, so I'd say it's where you go. Okay, museum, council, do you have any other business to bring forth at this time? Anybody?
Any questions? We didn't ask if anybody had any questions for me. It was rambling through all that. In my defense, I wasn't here last month because of illness, so I had to make up for the speaking I missed out on last month.
Oh, I forgot about that.
You're right.
You're off the hook.
Anyone there? Anyone? Okay, now we're down to public comment. So if you're here and want to do some public comment, come forward, introduce yourself, and we'll see what we can do.
My real name is John Freites. I've been a resident of Timberville since 1985, but everybody knows me as Steve.
Okay.
Okay. First of all, I want to thank fluoride and our water. When I heard this, I got excited, I clapped, praise God. So, thank you, Town Council, for voting to eliminate it. Also, I thank the Timberville Town Police. A couple of times I had been dealing with them a little bit, with speeders going up and down on Orchard Drive. However, I do have to say the past month it seems to have slowed down somewhat. Different times they have been going at high rates of speeds. You know, I'm talking about, past year and a half, 2 years, whatever, but right now it does seem to be getting better. I do thank the town police. I like the style, I like the demeanor of how they work. They need to be hard when they need to be hard, but at the same time, they're compassionate, when they need to be compassionate. And mannerism, it's all there.
Thank you.
Pretty much the main reason why I'm here is because of the town clerk. I thank the maintenance crew for the town for all the work they do. I think they do an excellent job taking care of that park. However, I have to say the dog park is kind of neglected a little bit. Springtime, the mud in there was absolutely terrible. I witnessed people that would come into the park. They would let their dogs in, but they would stay out because they did not want to get their shoes all muddy and this and that. And it's definitely a problem when you exit in because there's no grass. And down along where we sit to watch the dogs, benches. That area turns into a bunch of mud. Other people kind of agreed with me, and I said, I'm going to go to the town council, bring this up. And we kind of talked about it. Each one had a different idea. My idea was maybe to put a little bit of artificial turf. I don't think you can plant grass because I think the dogs would just dig it up. Mainly, the biggest problem is when it gets wet, when it rains. However, the biggest intense of it is in the spring when the ground thaws out, snow melts ice, and the mud is absolutely thick. Worst scenario is give us a couple of bales of hay, throw down over the mud a little bit, I would like to see something a little bit more permanent with the idea of something like an artificial turf or something or other that would just take care of the problem. Also, the automatic dog bowl that has a float in it, that float does not work. It continues to stay on, so during the summer months, it just runs and runs and runs.
I agree, we've had a lot of trouble with that thing. We'll have to figure something.
You're not talking a lot of money for that, you know. No, it's an easy fix, you know, this needs to be dealt with. I do have to confess, you know, back when it was 80 degrees, I did turn the water on and a few other people did, but when I left, I turned it off because, you know, it would just run continuously. So that needs to be dealt with. Also, I represent the SPCA in Harrisonburg, and they give us posters. My job is to hang them in Timberville and Broadway. And there's really not a place in Timberville to hang a poster. I'm talking about 8.5 by 11 flyer, no place to hang it. I would love to see a simple little post where you could hang something, bulletin board. You know, I'm talking about a whole post and a few boards with a little bit of overhang so it would be protected from the rain. It doesn't need to be elaborate, it doesn't need to have glass in it and all that type of stuff. Just something that somebody could, you know, tack up. To me, it would be beneficial for a lot of people, things happening in the town. Everybody doesn't look at, you know, Facebook, online, social media of what's going on in town. It could be beneficial for a lot of people.
Are you thinking something like that at the park? Is that what you're?
Yeah, basically right there along the fence, the rail, when you come in, the fence rail, and people would just see it, and it doesn't have to be big. Just something where somebody could just post something, you know, community.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to say that we have to compete with Broadway in any way, but, you know, they got two of them at their park, you know. Theirs are kind of nice, they're elaborate, but to me, if the town wants to save a little bit of money, it doesn't have to be elaborate, you know.
If we look at that, it might be something, I mean, you might want to go a little bit more elaborate where it's something that has doors on it so that the stuff doesn't blow away and things like that.
I know, yeah, exactly.
We can look at that, and I know some of these other concerns, I know you talked to Michelle, and she had passed some of this stuff on to the other departments.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I do thank you for the town. I'm proud to be a resident of the town, and keep up the good work. Yep.
Well, thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Anybody else?
Take off my planning commission hat, put on my regular work hat, and just thank the town for posting about the box at the church. It has been used much more than we anticipated. TV3 asked for an interview about it, and I said, no, it can only do so much. And but the publicity that we got from the town, certainly people have found their way and what they need. And what we have found is people don't come in and throw it all in the back of the truck at one time. People have been very respectful, but it's obvious that that was a need, and we thank the town very much.
Thank you all for offering that service, that's great.
And it's amazing between the two boxes, the two churches, how much it does get used. There are people in need out there, and you don't see them come, but they come and get it. And they, like you said, they don't take it all. They take what they need, and it's very nice. And thanks for doing that, guys. Anything else? Anything else? Meeting's adjourned.